Okay. For this next question, you have to say which equations are not true. So you have to say which ones are true and which ones are false. So, and we're going to correct them if they're false. So we'll look at the first question, A. Okay. The question says 2 to the power of 4, and their answer is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Is that correct? Is that true or false?
Yes.
How do you know that's correct?
Because the base is 2 and you multiply it 4 times and
Excellent.
they put the 2's 4 times.
Good language. So the base is 2. I like the language you used. And they multiply it by itself 4 times, like the exponent says. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Excellent. So you can just put true. Okay, B. The question says 3 to the power of 3 is equal to 3 times 3. Is that correct? Why is that wrong?
Which? Well, they got the base right, but
good.
They didn't do the power
Exponent?
The exponent by 3 times. They did it by 2.
Good. So the exponent says the exponent is the number 3, which means you have to multiply it by itself 3 times, and they only multiply it by itself twice. So let's correct it. So it should say equals 3 times 3 times 3, right?
Yeah.
It says 4 to the power of 2 is equal to 16. Is that true? How would you write 4 to the power of 2 with repeated multiplication? What is 4 to the power of 2? What is 4 to the power of 2? What is that equal to? Repeated multiplication. 4 times
2.
No, not 4 times 2. We're writing the number 4. How many times you multiplying it? See, they almost tricked you there.
Yeah.
4 times
4 times 4.
Right. We have to write the base twice. Is 4 times 4 equal to 16?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is correct. This is true. So see what they did there? They calculated it. We've been taking the power and we've been writing it as repeated multiplication. Here, they just skipped the step and they just calculated it for you. Okay, question D. 6 to the power of 3. Let's write that out as repeated multiplication. What is 6 to the power of 3? What's the base?
6.
And how many times do we write the base?
3 times.
Okay. Do you think that 6 times 6 times 6 is equal to 18? Is that true? You can use 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. 16. Yep. What do you think they did to get 18? That's wrong. What do you think they did? They looked at this and said, oh, 6 times 3 equals 18.
Yeah.
But this power, 6 to the power of 3, does not mean 6 times 3. It means 6 times 6 times 6.
That's what they did.
You have to figure out how you could write this number as a power. Okay, so 25, you want to think of a number that if you multiply it by itself, right, because a power is repeated multiplication, you're multiplying a number by itself. Is there anything you can think of that when you multiply it by itself, it equals 25? Something times something equals 25? It's the same number that you multiply by itself. And think back to your divisibility rules. This digit, it ends in 5. Would this number be divisible by 2? Can a 2 go into a 25 evenly? No, because it doesn't end in an even number.
25.
5 times 5 is 25. Okay, so we figured out the repeated multiplication. 25 is equal to 5 times 5, right? 5 times 5 is 25. Now, how would you write this as a power? Because the question said, write each of these numbers as a power. How would you write this as a power?
2 to the power of 5.
2 to the power of 5 means 5 times 5?
Oh, no. 5
No.
to the power of 2.
5 to the power of
2.
Good. 5 to the power of 2. The base is 5, and you're writing it down twice. Good. Okay, you want to fill that in? Okay, same thing for this question. Can you think of a number that when you multiply it by itself, you get 64? We know it's going to be a number that's larger than 5 because 5 times 5 was 25, but now you have a number that's larger than 25. So go through the numbers if you can't think of it. What's 6 times 6? Is that equal to 64?
No.
7 times 7? 8 times 8 is equal to 64. So how would you write that as a power like we did over here? What is 8 times 8 as a power? What's the base? What number is being repeated?
6?
Look at the
No.
question. What numbers are
8.
we repeating? We're repeating the number 8. Good. How many times is it being repeated?
4.
1,
Oh, yeah, 2.
2. Good. So we can say that 64 equals 8 times 8, or 64 equals 8 to the power of 2. 8 to the power of 2 is equal to 64. It's the same answer. Okay, so now you're thinking of a number that can be multiplied by itself. It could be more than 2 times. It could be 3 times or 4 times or 5 times. But you're thinking of a number that when it's multiplied by itself repeatedly, the answer is 8. Do you think it's going to be an even or an odd number? Look at the answer. Is the answer an even or odd number?
Odd.
Is this even or odd? 2, 4, 6, 8.
Oh.
Those even numbers are odd. Okay, that's an even number. So, good. 2 is an even number. So what happens if we take 2 and we multiply it by 2? What's 2 times 2?
4.
What if I multiply it by 2 again? What's 4 times 2? 2 times 2 is 4, and then 4 times 2 is 8. So what would this be as a power?
It'd be 2
To the power of
2.
2 to the power of, how many times did I write the number 2?
Oh, to the power of 3.
To the power of 3. So 2 to the power of 3 is equal to 8. 2 times 2 times 2 is equal to 8. It gives us the same answer. Okay? 27. So you want to think of a number that that goes into 27. What is 27 divisible by? What numbers go into 27 evenly? Okay, we know 2 doesn't go into 27 because 27 is not an even number, it's an odd number. Does 3 go into 27? Okay, so we know it's divisible by 3, so let's multiply it by 3. Let's multiply 3. What's 3 times 3? Does that equal 27? Is 3 times 3 equal to 27? No, it's equal to 9. Let's
Yeah.
multiply it by 3 again and see if we can get to 27. 3 times 3 times 3. What does that equal?
27.
27. So that's it. That's the answer. How would you write that as a power then? What's the
3
base?
To the power of 3.
Good. 3 to the power of 1, 2, 3. We wrote the base 3 times. So 3 to the power of 3 is equal to 7, which is equal to 3 times 3 times 3. Good.